Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Love is Blind, Season 8, Episode 11.
Listen here, I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. You ready, Blair?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
All right, so we start with Lauren and Dave. He was confident with Lauren before he got his phone. People were saying that she had a boyfriend before coming on to the show, and his friends and family know the other guy pretty well.
Okay.
Dave says, "You didn't expect me to have a connection with this guy. Did you think this guy wouldn't come back in your life? You admitted that you didn't end things." Lauren said that there was not a lack of closure in her opinion. Dave says, "Well, you said you should have ended it and you didn't know why you didn't." Lauren tells him that she's been honest and they could have solved this. Dave says, "Well, the guy keeps texting, trying to talk to you." Lauren says it was when they first got back, he had a different perspective on their situation.
Yeah.
Lauren explains that they hooked up a week before the experience, not 2 days. And Dave asks her, "Why can't you just say you effed up?" Lauren says, "I did. I've said that plenty of times.
She did.
But you said you didn't care who I hooked up with. Now you're bringing it back up." Lauren's dad apparently approached Dave like during their meeting, saying that he thought Dave was just there to see how things go, but Lauren was the one who's really ready for marriage. Lauren says that, Dave, it seems like you're not worried about being a team member with someone. Like, this could have been such a small issue.
Yeah.
Dave says, "You sound like your dad right now." He talked bad about the fact that Dave's family didn't want to be involved. And Lauren basically says, "Well, my dad does want to be involved. He just doesn't want to be on camera." Lauren doesn't see how this is all on her. And Dave says that he is hesitant to bring Lauren around his friends and family. His sister is worried. If he wanted his friends and family to be there, they would have showed up. But he is still in love with Lauren. Lauren questions that if he loved her and shared the positives with his sister, then she would most likely be happy for him. Dave says that her dad met him on the dad's terms, and now it's being turned into his friends and family being the problem. His people aren't going to change their minds. His heart says it might be the right decision to walk away from this, and Lauren agrees.
How you go criticize about how involved or not involved her dad is in the process? We haven't met your friends or family,
Right.
personally. Truth be told, Dave didn't want no solution, because here's the thing about it, right? If he wasn't such a weirdo, if he was just a upfront, honorable guy, he would just bring everybody, all parties involved, to the table. Meet, let's talk, because if this gonna be my wife, I need to know the truth.
Yep.
All right, let's meet the guy. All right, we go talk to the guy. What is it? Why are you contacting my fiance? Right? What did you thought it was compared to what she's saying? Right? And then basically tell everybody to put the truth or put their truth on the table, and then you make a choice from there. But he's dragging it out. He's now making it seem like, you know what? Like, how come you just can't say it's your fault? Oh, how come your father's not fully involved in the process? Mind you, Dave, one day you're over it. The next day you bringing it up. You're not bringing your friends around. You're not bringing your sister around. Then on top of that, you talk about how protected your family is. Dave, do you want to marry the girl or not? Obviously you don't, so just move on with it, because it's not here's the thing about it. You don't want to marry her based off of what is being told or based on the text messages, yet you don't want to get down to the truth.
Right.
So what's the problem? You get what I'm saying? It just is what it is for me.
I really think Dave didn't expect to be engaged. I think that he did everything he could in his power to push women away when in the pods by making jokes about people's age, asking them why they're here, why are you single? I mean, he did a lot to put women off, but just so happens 2 women ended up finding him charming.
Wow.
And now that one woman he's actually engaged to, and there's actual expectations of meeting the family, working together as a team and being a partnership and actually doing this marriage thing, it's too much for him. It's too much reality. He thought he was coming over here to have a good time and to play the Love is Blind game.
Yeah.
But now that it's actually his life and his people that he has to get involved in his decisions, he can't stand on his own decisions.
Yeah.
So
get out of here.
Dave feels like he let Lauren down. He couldn't put his own ego and pride aside because she was with some guy before him. This felt like the right decision for him. He says love is blind, but marriage is not. She is sad that this didn't work out and that he let it get to this point.
Dave, get out my face, brother.
Yeah.
You know?
So the couples get together to go snow tubing. The guys acknowledge that Dave isn't there. Ben does say that outside opinions do come up, but it's something you have to work through. Joey says you also have to manage communication with family, and Daniel wasn't prepared for the outside noise.
Would you ever go snow tubing with me?
I would.
Oh, okay.
That looks like fun. Would you go?
Oh yeah, I love the snow, to be honest. Winter is my favorite time of the year. don't like driving in it, but let's say like skiing and all that other stuff, snowboarding. Mind you, never did neither of those days, right? But I would love to do stuff like that, and
Yeah, I'd be down.
snow tubing.
So the girls say that they're all excited about their new last names. Lauren arrives. She hasn't heard from Dave, and she feels like she probably won't.
Why do you want to hear from him?
Yeah.
It's all right.
Some of the pod people start arriving. We've got Brittany and Molly. Sorry, Brittany and Molly.
Brittany.
So Molly and Lauren have a chat. Molly appreciated how kind Lauren was to her in the pods. And she says, last Friday when I was at the bar, I did see Dave. I didn't go over to say hi, but I saw that there was some girl that was all over him. Lauren tells Molly that she and Dave broke up and why. And Molly asks, so was he celibate before he came in here or he's a virgin? Like, what's really going on here?
Yeah, Molly, what's the tea?
Exactly. Molly says that Dave should have had Lauren's back and she'll be there for Lauren. He really wasn't that great. And she jokes about the selfies on his Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
I was actually surprised to get this response from Molly. The way that she seemed so into Dave in the pods and was so sure that he was going to pick her.
Yeah.
I just knew that once things came out, like she would be trying to get up under Dave, but she surprised me. She surprised me in a really good way.
Yeah. What did I say last episode? Weirdo is a universal language, right? It's one thing if I don't got no wall between us, I got to guess, I got to put a picture in my head of you. But once I actually see and actually get my phone back and hear about the interactions, because like you said, the girls are still friends, you get what I'm saying? Because they all going through this experiment together. She's like, Dave just sounds like a weirdo. You get what I'm saying? And that's a universal language. Nobody wants a weirdo. You could be unique in personality, but there is a line of weird where you're just like, it don't make sense for a human to act this way. And for Dave to be the age that he is, it doesn't make sense for him to act that way.
Right.
So
Devon and Britney have their one-on-one.
This was interesting.
She says that he looks like a kid, but he does seem mature.
Okay.
She felt his response to her sexuality was a bit immature. She says everybody's a little bit gay. And maybe more support would have been nice.
Okay.
Devon tells her it just wasn't meant for us. Things with Virginia are going well, and he finds it easy to talk to her.
Yeah.
Britney says that Virginia is an incredible and accomplished woman. She thinks they seem the most genuine as a couple and can tell that they do love each other. She would also like an invite to the wedding.
What are your thoughts? Yeah, I'm about to say, what is your thoughts on this?
If weird is a general language that we can all agree on, Britney is being weird.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
What do you mean everybody's a little bit gay?
Don't speak
You
for me.
couldn't even say gay in the pods.
Come on.
So we're not really jiving, Brittany. We don't really know what's really up with you when it comes to your sexuality. And your sexuality is your business, but you can't put it on somebody else that they have to accept it as the fact of my wife has other proclivities. Yeah. A stranger at that. So I'm just like, Brittany, you're being a little immature.
Yeah.
And then when we move on to Brittany talking about being invited to the wedding, this please relax, chill, relax. But I would say I like how Devon handled the conversation. He wasn't trying to defend himself. He wasn't really trying to get into a back and forth with her. He just said, I'm happy with Virginia. And that's about all you need to know, ma'am.
And look, when it comes down to it, right, I'm not going to criticize somebody who have the freedom to their own preferences, right? I see some people, say, based on the comments, not in our channel, but I seen some people say that he kind of had a problem with her being biracial. I said, wait a minute now. I mean, not biracial. Jesus Christ.
I was like, who biracial?
Bisexual, right?
Okay.
not biracial.
He biracial.
Right. We all got a little white in us, right? No. Not biracial, right?
Right.
Bisexual. I said, no. Let's wait now, because she did not describe herself as bisexual.
Right.
What she said, let's go by what she said. She said that she had experiences with the same sex, but she could never see herself marrying a woman.
Right.
That leaves more questions, right?
Yes.
So, was his response immature? I would not go so far as to say immature. I would say that I wish that he would have at least just say, "Oh, thank you for sharing," and just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But his silence was loud.
It was.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't hold I give him bail to get out of jail for that, right? It's not immature. I understand that she said, like, you know, when we was in the pod sharing secrets, like, you shared your secret about you being on whatever you was on, and then I shared my secret, and I just felt like you didn't accept mine. I'm like, your secret was pretty big, and it led to more questions, right? Also, I do feel like such a big secret and such a personal secret, you have to be direct, and also I don't think being on a national platform to where your family really don't really know what's going on would be the platform for you to share that secret. But I'm happy that, you know, outside of the article that she was on and things like that, at least on the face-to-face thing, it seemed like, you know, she's cool with his decision and he's basically cool with meeting her and things like that. You get what I'm saying? If we was to take away the article, because you call me a mama's boy, you had no reason to call me a mama's boy.
Yeah,
you know?
She was. It seemed like she was hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my thing is, like, I think it's fair for someone, if you have dabbled in same-sex experiences, it's fair for me to ask, well, what are you into? I know what you don't see yourself as, and then even hearing some feedback from our community and things like that. Some people, I've heard terms that I didn't even know existed because I'm not really educated in that community. I didn't know there was a such thing as, like, basically like a beard. Like basically like, oh, you want to marry me to basically have a beard to basically cover what you really are into. So it's like, I'm learning too. You get what I'm saying? So I think as long as she's open and understand that, hey, you came on a heterosexual show, a guy or a woman would have questions if the shoe was on the other foot. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
So Dave arrives.
I should have said biracial.
Dave arrives. He talks to the guys. He tells them that he broke things off with Lauren, and he didn't want it to be like he broke up with her, though. So I'm just like, Dave is also trying to save face and lie. So I'm just like, I'm not reading into Dave.
I ain't gonna hold you. I wouldn't have been one of the guys happy to see David. Like, I would have been with Molly. Like, yeah, that's weird. That's a weird guy over there.
Madison comes in, and then we see Meg and Mason walk in together. So apparently Meg and Mason have been hanging out together. When they got their phones back, they immediately found each other, started talking. They did their own reveal, and they say that they're friends right now and just taking things slow.
Okay.
Madison is happy that she didn't end up with Mason. How he's handled things has given her the ick. And then Alex arrives. So Madison is talking to Lauren as if they're good duties when they're really not. And just basically being negative and dumping on Lauren. Well, Lauren is clearly going through a lot right now.
She definitely is.
So Madison tells Lauren that she couldn't promise that she wouldn't have a bad day to Alex. And that's pretty much how they ended things. Sure.
I don't think that's how it happened, but okay, sure.
So apparently he messaged her and said that, hey, I want you to meet me at the airport, spend some time with me. He said that she was beautiful, wanted her to stay in LA. Madison said that if it didn't work in the pods, it wouldn't work now. And they talked on the phone. There was some type of issue between Meg DMing Alex and then Alex pitting Meg against Madison. And, you know, he also said F Mason, but when it came to being on camera, like, he didn't ever treat Mason that way. So apparently Madison thinks he's fake and he stirs up drama. But Madison, you're not too far from that yourself.
I'm about to say, that's the pot calling the kettle black. You get what I'm saying?
Alex tells Devon that there's been so much drama, but he doesn't really get into the details.
Okay.
Dave and Molly have their chat. Dave says that he's usually the one who's messed up in previous relationships. And Molly's like, so what, you mean, does that mean Lauren messed up? And he's just like, no, I'm not trying to say that. So then what are you trying to say?
That's what I'm saying.
Like these men, like, I don't know if it's Midwestern men or like
Dave right here, man.
Dave is Mason, is Ben, it's like very, very spineless.
Listen here, man. I have to put Dave in his own category because
I can rock with that.
Dave is really a weirdo. Like he really is.
Molly says that they talked about how he pushes people away, and it sounded like he didn't really give Lauren a chance for like a fair chance. Yeah. Dave doesn't feel that way, and Molly asks, so why didn't you defend her? He says that he did, but they had an issue with the situation, her situationship. Molly asks, so when's the last time you had sex?
That's a good question, Molly.
Dave tells her he doesn't know, but it's been a while. Molly asks, why does he care? And Dave says his sister, it's important that she approves of what he does. She wasn't a fan of him coming on the show, but she ended up telling him that he could go. She was very emotional, but said that she wasn't okay with him actually getting engaged. Molly says, well, Lauren is genuine and kind. If you're ready for marriage, wouldn't you defend that person? And he tells her it's just not that easy. Molly tells him he's making excuses. If anyone would meet Lauren, they would love her. If you wanted it to happen, you would have made it happen. Dave wants to say hi to Lauren and possibly go home with her, but he thinks it's a little bit too late for that. He told his sister he ended things with Lauren, and he wishes he could go back and do things differently. He loves her and thinks that he could be that guy for her.
What do you mean go home with her?
I have no clue. You want to hit it and quit it? Like do you want to hang out for an hour and go to your apartment like you always do? Like, what are we talking about?
What do you mean go home with her? Like, when y'all had a place together, you wasn't staying there. So,
Right.
like, what are you talking? That's why I'm like, I'm not even going to put Ben and Mason all in this weird category and things like that. Dave is weird, guys. And Molly asked a good question. When was the last time you had sex? Because maybe you haven't crossed over to like the other side as a grown up, and you're giving like virgin weird guy who basically view women as possessions and things like that. Like, oh, like this is the first girl I ever was in a relationship with, and it's like oh, I don't know. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like someone who's trying to hide the fact that they're not sexually active or never been. But my thing is like, I don't really know what his whole point is. He's basically he started a conversation thinking that he can talk bad about Lauren, right? Basically saying like, I'm usually the one that messes up. Molly like, what do like you mean by that? Because Lauren didn't mess up. And now all of a sudden he realized that Molly is Lauren's friend, which I'm going to admit, I ain't see that coming. But now he's stuck in a conversation to where he got to take accountability, and he still is not doing it.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, every time he's asked to take accountability when it comes to the situation, it always goes back to his sister.
Yeah.
And if I was his sister, I'd be pissed at him, because why you keep bringing me up as an excuse?
Yeah.
Stand on your own values and morals and what you think. Like, don't keep bringing me up.
Facts.
So, but the fact that he brought up his sister and was saying she allowed me to come on the show, but she didn't want me to get engaged. So, like, what? So then what was your point? Because the whole point of coming on here is to get engaged.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, moving on. Dave and Lauren have a talk. He gives her an awkward hug and apologizes for avoiding her. He tells her that he's bad at admitting that he's wrong, and he tells her it's not her. He's sick of having to defend her, his family, his friends, and he doesn't really care about that. It was his ego that got in the way of seeing what they had.
Yeah.
He went to their place, and it sucked seeing all of her stuff gone, and Lauren said it sucked having to move all of my stuff out. Dave said that he wanted to text her, and Lauren tells him, but you didn't text me. He said, you didn't text me either.
What are we doing here?
Lauren has been giving her all to try to make things work. He was giving her nothing. He wasn't letting her in. So why would she be the one to reach out?
Fact.
Dave says that she didn't need to be. He did. In his head, everything was a yes. Love is making sure your partner is your priority. He knows that it's real between them, and it freaks him out. Lauren is sorry he's going through all these feelings, but, you know, what we had is in the past.
Here's the thing about it. Molly says something basically like, if he wanted to get down to the truth, he could have easily got down to the truth. Basically FaceTime, all that stuff, right? Now, Lauren, I would just say, make this the last time you ever talk to Dave, right? Even though he didn't text you, and you said like, well, you didn't text me, you should be happy he did not text you, because he is going to be, listen, nobody should want to be married that bad, right? To the point where they are willing to settle for Dave. Lauren, count your blessings and move on.
Yeah. So Sarah goes to church with Ben and his friend Abe.
Yeah.
The pastor is talking about bringing people to church and Christ. Sarah isn't really there when it comes to the church thing, but it's about Ben, and she's willing to go for the sake of their relationship and possibly their marriage.
Yeah. I don't think she's as open as she says she is to church. Number one, I would say if you're not used to going to church, church will be uncomfortable for you just off the strength of sitting down for long periods of time. That's it. Like, I'm not even on the conversation of what the pastor's talking about. If you're not used outside of a classroom setting to sit down for at least an hour and hear somebody talk, then you're not going to be comfortable with it. So I did not expect her, or nor do I hold it against her, that she looked uncomfortable sitting in church if she's not used to going to church. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Taylor and Daniel, they set up their Christmas decorations for this photo shoot.
Yeah.
They plan to make some ornaments for their wedding guests. And I thought that was a really cute idea.
Nice.
So the ladies go wedding dress shopping and the guys go suit shopping. Nick and Vanessa, of course, are present, and all of their like friends and family. The families, of course, give them feedback on the outfits, discuss where they're at when it comes to being ready for marriage.
Yeah.
And right now, everybody is saying that they're all in, but final decisions won't be made until the day of.
Okay.
So moving on, Devon and Virginia chat. Virginia shows Devon the prenup she printed out. Devon asks, what would you say to people who ask why get a prenup if you're going to be together? It's because his family has those questions. Virginia tells him it's just the business part of it. This is just the if the worst happens. And she tells him if you want to add or take anything out or discuss, like we can definitely do that. Devon is going to take some time to review it before signing it, have a lawyer and probably his parents look at it before getting back to her with his decision.
What is your overall mood that you got, or like your take from that scene with Virginia and Devon?
The way that he came across was that he was starting to not want to do it.
Yeah.
He was starting to have doubts about it. And I don't know if those doubts really were from him or from his family. I think that we're seeing in this season, there's a good amount of people that are influenced heavily by their family and their family's belief system. And although like, as you get to a certain age as an adult, you can kind of separate the two, but it is kind of frustrating to see how some of these men seem to be under the thumb of their family beliefs and can't find that independence in order to create a new family and a new structure, especially if you're coming in this place of marriage where you're really supposed to be cleaving to your wife. And I'll say that might be a reach of an assessment for Devon in this situation, but his just lack of, I don't know, like he just seemed like he was like dejected, like he just wasn't in it anymore. Like when him and Virginia talked about it at first, he said, oh yeah, that's cool, you know what I'm saying, we both leave with what we want. But now he seems hesitant, and I don't fault him for being hesitant. Look at the paperwork, make sure she ain't trying to take your big toe or whatever. But it was just seemed like a big shift in his energy. There's
something how he talks that's very, what's the word? It's almost as if he's talking for somebody, but it's like he's not talking for him, but it's his voice. Yeah. So he say things such as like, so what would you say if someone was to say that a prenup mean that you're not really for the marriage? I'm like, that's not like,
is that your concern?
Yeah, exactly. It's almost as if he's talking like in third person, then first person, then he's talking for people. So like that's also another thing too, right? I have no problem with her. I seen some comments online saying that she was wrong for giving him the prenup after she cooked him a meal, basically trying to slide it in like the sense of like, how are you gonna feed him and then try to give him a prenup? I say, hey, look, he ate, he's probably in a good mood. Yeah. The only issue that I have with Devon is if she's going to do the business side of marriage, which I am not against, then say I will take it and look over it with my lawyer. When you start saying I have my mama or my daddy look over it, then it comes off as what Blair was talking about. Like, why are you having your mama and dad look over something? They're not lawyers. Like I feel like, hey, there's certain things that you should not. You already now, like I feel like you're bringing your parents into something that they don't have to be into.
When this is our relationship and our marriage.
Now, if it's the family attorney, that's something different, which he has. Yeah. So I'm like, I will have the family attorney, or I will have my lawyer look over it, and then you put it to the side, get it out of your face. You get what I'm saying? Don't read it in front of her. Don't do any of that stuff in front of her, because it's business now. Right. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like in some way, it kind of did feel like Virginia kind of wanted him to read it right then and there, or kind of wanted an answer or some reaction to it right then and there in the moment. But I'm like, if this is the business side of it, which I am not against, the main reason why I am not against the prenup is specifically because we're seasons into Love is Blind, and people have lied about their job. Right. You get what I'm saying? This is not season 1 to where people could come in like pure and stuff like that. We're like season 8 or like whatever season we on. So people can come on and say they have this or do this and live here just to be on TV. So I am not against the prenup, but I'm like, in that moment, Devon should have been more professional, besides coming off as a little emotional, a little dejected, saying I'm gonna have my mama and dad look over it. No, say I'm gonna have my lawyer look over it, and then I'll get back to you, and then continue on with the night.
Yeah.
Dude, you get what I'm saying? That's all I got to say about that.
The only comment I want to say as well, like I did have critiques for Virginia in the pods because I felt like she wasn't giving much.
Yeah.
But I feel like she's growing on me in the sense that she is communicating and having these harder conversations and not shying away from it. And I feel like the way that she's going about it is very pleasant and not like trying to strong arm anybody or trying to get defensive with her beliefs or what she would like as far as prenup goes. Like I like how she handles him and I like how mature she is, and I think that maybe in the pods it might have just been an uncomfortable situation of how much she wanted to really expose, and also of course we know editing, certain things we don't or we're not privy to seeing, but I feel like she is giving a lot more, and even the fact of like how she spent time with his family and the fact that she said it's important that she fosters her own personal relationship with his family. So she has a lot of great qualities, and I'm digging Virginia.
Put it like this, if Virginia don't give much, which I still believe she doesn't, I would say Devon give less. Like Devon doesn't give much at all. I think Devon is very into the interview process of it. Of maybe like he may have shined in the pods, but outside the pods, I don't like Devon is like boring, but not boring in the sense of like he likes to do what he does. It's like you really don't. It's like he speaks in first person, then he speaks in third person. It's almost like he's just like
it's hard to pinpoint like your thoughts and your concerns because it's kind of getting wrapped up with the family's concerns.
Yeah, and maybe he's like very laid back, but even laid back gives more to like Devon. I don't know. Like put it like this, I don't feel like Devon. I feel like Virginia don't give a lot, but make it very clear, Devon gives less than Virginia based on where we at in episode 11.
And that's all we got.
That's all we got. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. We see y'all next video.
Bye.